Now that is more like it. None of that Denver garbage we had a couple nights ago. The Raptors come out tonight against the 76ers, and this what shows a good team. I mean, this is exactly what you'll want to see if you're the Toronto Raptors. You come out at home, and man, this team digs in defensively, and they beat the 76ers 113-102. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the 13th straight victory the Raptors have beaten the 76ers at home. That's dominant. That's for sure. Let's break this puppy down quarter by quarter here before we break down every inch of this game, because there's a lot to get to in this. The Raptors have a tough time shooting the ball in the first quarter, and that was kind of, I didn't really know what to feel about that situation. However, it was only the first quarter. Raptors -6, 29-23 after one quarter of play. Let's go to the second quarter. The Raps just dig in defensively. The rebounds, they were grabbing their boards, they were running, and that's what this team is so good at. And we've learned over time that when this Raptor team plays good defense, they're getting blocked shots, they're getting rebounds. Right as this team gets the rebound, either Lowry or Kawhi or somebody is looking up to see who's wide open for an easy basket. And if there's nobody, you dribble it up the floor. And countless times we saw wide open guys. I don't know how many dunks were in this game for the Raptors. It felt like a ton. But in that second quarter, the Raptors dominated, and they were +10 in that second quarter. So, with the -6 in the first, do the math, you're +4 at the half. And the crazy stat going into halftime, Raptors were only shooting 38% from the field. And Philly was shooting, 43, I think it was? So yeah, I understand they're not shooting the ball well either, but I think the Raptors' defense was also helping that out quite often. And you're only shooting 38% and you're up by 4. You don't see that too often, but they had to smarten up to get the win. Third quarter rolls around, you want to come out in the second half and dominate and push them away and build that big solid lead. Well, that did not happen. The Raptors did have a 9-point lead at one point, I think it was in that third quarter, and it dwindles away to 1 at the end of 3 quarters of play. So the Raptors were -3 in that third quarter, but like I just said, you're still +1 heading into the fourth quarter, and this is where this team just dominates. You know what I saw in this game? It was the Raptors of new versus the Raptors of old. I'm going to tell you guys why. How many amazing passes did we see in that fourth quarter? How many tough shots did we see get made by this team in that fourth quarter? DeLon Wright with a nice little under the basket scoop and score. I mean, beautiful job there. How many, Fred VanVleet didn't score a lot of points in this game. DeLon Wright, that was only 2 points in the game, was that nice layup. Excuse me. Fred VanVleet had 5 points. 3 of those 5 was a big 3, which I think you were tied at the time in the fourth quarter. He makes the 3. To put your team up by 3. Like I said, he only has 5 points in the entire game. So, again, those guys still aren't really going all that much right now, which is, I wouldn't say nerve-wracking, but you want to get them going. And then you throw out a guy like Jonas Valanciunas. And guys, we've talked... I'm going to get back to my original point about how this is the Raptors of new versus the Raptors of old. The Philadelphia 76ers weren't moving the ball around. They were playing a lot of stagnant basketball and just taking a lot of shots. Does that remind us of a little ISO ball that we got used to last year late in games? And it never worked? That's what you saw from Philly. And the Raptors, humming the ball around. Look, the team overall today, they have 25 assists. Yes, they get 20. The 76ers get 26. But in the fourth quarter, they weren't moving the ball. And that was the problem in that fourth quarter for quite a few stretches. But now let me get back to Jonas Valanciunas, guys. He has been really nowhere to be found over the past little while. JV, he's a guy that I've always adored on this team. But you look at his past games, and obviously minutes have dropped. But before this game, he had scored in double figures once in the last 4 games. Not very good, and shooting percentages, I don't have that right in front of me here, but I know they're not all that great. And 18 minutes, 16 minutes, and 14 minutes are his minutes in the last, 4 games before tonight. And what did Nick Nurse decide to do? Something Dwayne Casey never would have done. Dwayne Casey, we all know, fell in love with rotations and didn't really shy away from them. If something else was working, didn't matter. We've seen already Nick Nurse is not that type of coach. We learned that he's on the fly type of coach. Look, guys, Serge Ibaka, 18 points, 8 boards for this team in the game. That's fantastic. However, he was a -4 out there on the floor. Joel Embiid was ripping him apart, and it just wasn't too fun early on. Then Jonas Valanciunas comes out there, a bigger guy, right? He's a tough time guarding the 3, as we all know. But Jonas Valanciunas, guys, goes out there tonight against Joel Embiid. And we've talked about players in the past being able to contain them. Jonas Valanciunas shut down Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, he had a double-double in the game. Not a very productive double-double. 10 points, 12 boards on 5 of 17 shooting, 0 of 4 from 3, -23 was Joel Embiid. And Jonas Valanciunas on the flip side had 26 points, 8 boards in only 18 minutes. 9 of 13 shooting. Look at that. My app just crashed. Oh, my phone died, I think. Look at that. And I think Jonas Valanciunas was a +14 while he was on the floor. That is an absolute incredible job by JV. And how many countless occasions did we see Joel Embiid trying to back down JV, and he's just standing there tall like, yeah, come right at me, bud. And it never worked for Joel. JV, on the other hand, backing him down hard. And then I love JV's little fadeaway that he always does. And it always works. Well, it did tonight against Joel Embiid. Again, really, really impressed with Jonas Valanciunas and his play there today. Guys, look. I understand the 3-point shooting for this team is terrible. They made 8 threes today. I think Kawhi Leonard made 5 of them. He was 5 of 6 from 3. And he also had, 36 points and 8 rebounds. That is ridiculous. And yeah, we're talking about Jonas Valanciunas. And, I mean, look, guys. Kawhi Leonard he's the best player on this team on the court. We all know that. We know what Kawhi Leonard is really starting to bring to this team. The guy had 5 steals. Look. He had 36 points, 8 rebounds, shot a ridiculously good percentage, and he gave you 5 steals. I mean, I think anybody would take that. And yet the move we're talking about is Nick Nurse leaving Jonas Valanciunas out there in the dying moments of the fourth quarter. And you know what? He got us to victory. Joel Embiid, like I said, -23, JV +14, and the Raptors win by 11. Great job, Nick Nurse. Credits to him. Fantastic job. And the Raptors outscore the 76ers 35-25 in that fourth quarter, their biggest scoring quarter in the game. Their second lowest quarter given up in the game today, and they only give up 102 points. They hold the 76ers to only 43% shooting. They, I get it, all right? Jimmy Butler was ridiculous, and J.J. Redick was crazy. But when you hold Embiid and Ben Simmons to a total of 18 points, that's a recipe for a victory. And the Raptors came out today on national TV, and I totally forgot it was national TV, but because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything. I know people are going to say, well, maybe they'll look at us different now. Look, Raptor fans, real talk. I mean, I love you guys, but we've gotten used to the whole fact of no matter who you beat, when you beat them, there's always going to be excuses. Number 1, it's not the playoffs. Number 2, well, Jimmy Butler's new, and they haven't really learned to incorporate him in the system. You're going to learn everything, guys. There's excuses everywhere. So you know what we got to do? Enjoy the win today. Enjoy the whomping. Enjoy the win against Philly. It's fantastic. I love it. I know you guys too. Like I said, guys, at halftime, this team did not shoot the ball well at all. In hindsight, they only shot 43% from the field. Like I said, they only made 8 threes, 8 of 29. But the ability to defend the basketball was the reason this team won today. You hold them to 46% shooting. You hold them to only 11 for 35 from 3, which is only 31%. Not much better than the Raptors. And the Raptors make 8 more free throws. 19 for 22 of the Raps, 11 of 14 were the 76ers. And a big thing coming into the game, we heard Nick Nurse talk about, this is the last thing before I'm going to wrap this baby up for you guys. Actually, we're going to run through this real quick. I want a few things I want to discuss. Nick Nurse was asked before the game of the whole rebounding thing, and we all know about that being a big problem. That and turnovers were big issues for this team. The ability to rebound the basketball is so key in the game of basketball. It really is. And Nick Nurse said before the game that they tried 5 different rebounding drills in practice. To rebound better, arguably so. They need to. And what happened there today? Raps were plus 4 on the rebounds, which is not a big margin, but you out-rebounded them. And the offensive glass ideally is the main problem for this team, right? Being able to box out and not allow the shooter to get his own rebound, that's a problem. The Raptors give up 11 offensive boards. Yeah, that's not very good. But the Raptors had 17 offensive boards. They were an incredible thing today. They did a great job. Now, second chance points, Raptors had 22 to their 17. So you out-chanced them on the second chance points. You did a great job there. And like I said, turnovers was a big issue for this team. The 76ers have 21 turnovers. I don't have the exact number on points off of turnovers, but I know it was a ridiculously sizable margin. And the Raptors only had 11. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't they have 7 turnovers in the second quarter? Or something along those lines? If that's the case, then clean basketball, third, fourth, and first quarter. Ridiculously good job there. Look, guys, this is a game that you're going to say, the team didn't shoot the ball well enough, but you saw what they can do on the defensive end, and man, was it beautiful. It was beautiful. Who's your MVP in the game today, guys? I don't... Kawhi was fantastic, but JV put this team above and beyond. What do you guys think? Who's your player of the game? I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below about that, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys enjoyed the win once again today, smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below, guys. What you think of the game? Who's your MVP? And Evan and I will talk to you guys tomorrow night, podcast edition. Link is in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes, guys. Twitter is also down below. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition tomorrow night. William Nylander is back. Question is, where will he play? What line will he be on? Who will he paired with? Who will he be paired with? How much are they going to give him leeway? Will he be on the power play right away? Those all questions will be answered tomorrow night as the Leafs welcome in the Detroit Red Wings as the Buds look for their 6th straight victory. I mean, the Red Wings just came off a tough shootout loss or overtime loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the Buds look to continue on their crazy roll. All right, and I will talk to you guys Raptors edition Friday night. That video, guys, might be a little bit of a later upload, but I'm not 100% sure about that, guys. I'm going to be going to pick up my girlfriend, and we might be a little bit later, but it will be uploaded, guys, Friday night. Don't you guys worry about that. As the Raptors head to Brooklyn, take it on the Nets, because after that game, things get really tough, and we'll talk about that in the podcast, guys, tomorrow. We'll talk about that in the in the next video of the Raptors. We'll preview that crazy stretch going on. But all you can focus on right now, Raptor fans, is Friday night in Brooklyn. This is a trap game. They're 8-18. You're on the road. You got to take care of business. Yes, Cleveland is terrible. This team had double the wins. They're 8-18. They were 4 and whatever they were once we played them in Cleveland. But the Raptors got to find a way to get the job done on Friday against Brooklyn and win 2 straight. 21-5 is the Raptors' record. Crazy. Best record in franchise history. Best record in the league. Let's keep this thing rolling on Friday night. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you guys then.